everyone. Welcome to our next delve into the King James's Bible. We are on chapters 17, 18 and 19 today. So as you may recall, yesterday in chapter 16 we saw Abraham sleep with his wife's servant to try and hurry along the spreading of his seed so that he can become a leader of nations. And this is kind of backfired on him. This is not what God wanted. So in chapter 17 we see God coming back to Abraham and creating a covenant with him because he's lost his faith really in what the Father had said to him. So he's trying to rush, saying God's asked him to have faith because he's going to make a covenant between himself and Abraham so that he will become a father of nations and he will be fruitful. And he changes Abram's name to Abraham, which is father of many. That's what Abraham means. He will be fruitful, he said, and have many nations, and also the city of Canaan. So God makes this covenant, and how he does it with all his seedlings, that he's going to be. He wants to create a covenant between all of them to carry on this legacy. And this is when he brings in circumcision. He wants to circumcise any male 8 days and older by cutting the flesh to represent the promise to God. He then looks at Sarai, Abraham's wife, and he changes her name to Sarah. Now, Sarai actually means princess, and Sarah means my princess. So her name is changed to Sarah. And he is now establishing a new clean slate with them both, clean goals ready to go. So Abraham, he says, will have a child in a year's time. And Abraham laughs and he thinks, don't be ridiculous, I'm 100 years old nearly, how on earth can I conceive? And my wife Sarah, she's 90 years old, how is this possible? Don't you think it would be better to bless Ishmael, my son, and he can carry on the legacy? Nope. God says, no, it's going to be you. You're going to have a son in 1 year, and I want you to name this son Isaac. And through Isaac is where God will basically establish this covenant. It's where, the creation is really going to start, as we've seen before, how the seedling spreads and we start having this genealogy coming out. And God also, he said, will bless Ishmael and make him father of 12 nations. So on this very day that the covenant was set, Abraham starts straight away and has every man in his home circumcised, and himself at age 99, and his son Ishmael at age 13. And that is where we leave off chapter 17. So now we move on to chapter 18. And in chapter 18, Abraham is visited by 3 men. Now they're passing by his tents and he sees them and he realizes these are not just, they look like men, but they are holy. There's something about them that's different. So he rushes out. They're on their way to Sodom and Gomorrah and he wants them to stop and, so he can clean their feet and offer them this meal. And they're like, no, we don't want to stay. We want to get on our way. He's like, no, stay. So it's midday, the hot sun above them, and they decide, okay, we'll stay. So they sit under this tree and they have this meal. And then they ask Abraham, where is your wife? And it's a wonder he didn't think, how on earth do they know my wife's name? But he answers them. And he says, my wife is in the tents here. And they say, your wife is going to have a son. We're going to come by here in a year's time and she's going to have a son. And she laughs. She hears this, Sarah in the tent, laughs thinking, goodness me, I am 90 years old. How on earth could this be? There's no way. And she's laughing. And they hear it and they say, why? Why do you laugh? And she's scared, ooh, I did not laugh. She says, I did not laugh. And they said, yes, you did. We heard you. And do you not believe that the Lord, do you not have faith in the Lord that he will provide? And she listens on, and that is what they've told her. So then they say they've got to get going now. We're off to Sodom, and so they get up and leave. And they decide to conceal why they're going to Sodom with Abraham. They say that they're going to destroy it. And he's like, what? What do you mean you're going to destroy it? And he said, well, you know, you can't destroy this. What about like 50 men of righteous men? Would you still destroy it for 50 men? And they say, no, we would not. What about 40 men? What would you destroy 45 men? No, we would not. 30. What about 30? No, we would not. 20. No, we would not. We would save Sodom if there was 10 righteous men. In the end, it's right down to 10. And so this is left with Abraham. They say this, they make on their way, and Abraham turns back and he goes back into where he came. And that ends our chapter 18. And now we move on to chapter 19. Now, chapter 19 is set on the same day. And we learn that the 2 men that had come in out of the 3 are angels. And these angels come towards Sodom, and Lot sees them, and he sees that they are not just ordinary men. So he asks them, come on in, let me serve you, let me wash your feet again, let me, put on a good feast. And so they go in, and the people around the men see these angels coming in, and they want to sleep with them. That's what they want to do. They want to actually sleep with them. They want to rape them. And so they're coming towards this place, and Lot sees this. He's like, no, you can't do this. Stop. And they think, who is this Lot? Who is he? He's not actually from here. How is he to tell us what to do? And so they decide they're going to hurt him. They all start coming for Lot then. And Lot decides, hey, instead of coming for me, why don't you take my 2 daughters? They were virgins. Take them instead. And the men, no, we don't want that. And they start coming towards them. And this is when the angels step in. They step in and they blind all of the men. And they say to Lot and his family, you need to leave. We're going to destroy this place. Get all the righteous people that you know and get out of Sodom. Now, quickly now. So Lot's kind of like, oh, and he goes towards his son-in-laws and he tells them, we've got to leave. God's going to destroy this place. And they're like, come on, don't be ridiculous. Like, that's going to happen. And he's like, they are, come on, let's go. And they don't believe him. And so I think Lot himself starts to doubt as well. And he's kind of like, should we really go? But then he gets up his wife. And they're like, the angels are saying, come on. They grab his hand. They're like, you need to leave. Get your family and leave. Do not look back. Keep going forward. And so they go forward. But Lot's wife disobeys their orders, the Lord's orders. And she looks back. And she is turned into a pillar of salt. So she is gone. His sons-in-laws, they don't stay. They are destroyed. And Lot is leaving. He still kind of wanted to stay. He's kind of like partly attached to his possessions there and doesn't want to leave that. But he leaves and he says, please, can I go to this city called Zorah? He wants to go there. And so the Lord allows him. Yes, okay. So he goes to this place, Zorah. And for some reason, he wants to flee it after so long, because obviously there is something's happened there, and he wants to leave Zorah. So they go out to the mountains. Him and his daughters go to the mountains, and this is where it gets really strange, the story. And obviously Sodom and Gomorrah have been destroyed. They've left there. They went to Zorah. They had troubles in Zorah. They then leave Zorah. They end up in the mountains with his daughters. And then his daughters obviously want to carry on the seedlings. It's about this multiplying. We want to multiply and we want to carry on our beings, humanity. So the 2 daughters decide to get their father, Lot, drunk. The eldest one, it's her idea. Let's get him drunk, and they get him drunk on 2 nights, and they both sleep with him on each night. One of them sleeps with him, and then they become pregnant. And we have the eldest names her son Moab, and the younger daughter, she names her son Ben-Ammi. And they become 2 tribes, these sons. One, the Moabites, and the other children of Ammon. So that is where we leave off the story where we are at chapter, that is the end of chapter 19. So what did you get out of this so far? You know, was it bringing anything into your awareness? I think for me, it's showing more and more about humanity and how we do sort of we lose our way a lot of the times. You know, there's the righteous way, and we lose our way so easily. We get attached to the external world. It's like Lot there got attached to Sodom and all of his things, and what he didn't want to leave. He didn't kind of believe, and so he was going to stay, and if he'd have stayed, he would have been destroyed. And then you've got his wife, who, the curiosity within her, you know, once we're told no, it's almost like we want to go against that. There's something within us that always wants to, the more somebody's told no, it's like, oh, it's like, don't touch that button, and you want to press it, you know, and could be an explosion or something. But there's something in us where when we're told no, we need reasons why, and then even with the reasons why, you know, it just, we still go against that. So yes, these stories really do breed into the lives of who we are. You know, it's a Bible, and you can understand why these stories and why people read them, and we have sermons, and yes, there's a lot of depth to them. If we go back to the chapter with Abraham at the beginning with the tents, he knew they were holy, you know, and he wanted to do his best for them and serve them well, because, you know, it's like you want to put your best self forward. So yes, thank you for joining me for these 3 chapters of the Bible, chapters 17, 18 and 19 that we have now covered. I hope you've got something out of today's video, and yeah, if you have, then please subscribe. Lovely to have you journey along with me, and you know, if you want to leave some comments, if you've got anything that you could add to today's video, that would be great. Okay, thanks for being here, and I'll see you again tomorrow for our next chapters within the book of Genesis. See you then. Bye.